The Star Wars franchise has had some big hits, but somehow manages to miss the mark more often than a stormtrooper. Is Star Wars Outlaws one of the chosen ones? Or will it fade out faster than a Force Ghost's fart? Let's strap on our blasters, call up our marketable sidekicks, and launch into the galaxy's hives of scum and villainy.
When I first heard about this game, I was cautiously optimistic. Star Wars Outlaws bills itself as the first open-world Star Wars game, set in a criminal underworld, with third-person combat, space action, a bunch of planets to explore, bunch of criminal cartels to befriend or betray, and it's set in the good part of the Star Wars timeline between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi? That's a lot of potential, but also a lot of room to be let down. So it's safe to say that Star Wars Outlaws had some lofty expectations to meet and a very particular fan base to impress. So how did that go? Well, it definitely tried. You play as Kay Vess, an aspiring thief / Han Solo type, trying to make it in a galaxy full of scoundrels looking out for number one. Accompanied by her lifelong animal companion and the greatest gift to gaming since Astrobot, Nyx, Kay faces a daunting life on the run after a big-ticket job goes horribly awry. It is a dog-eat-dog galaxy though, and even people on the street aren't above trying to screw you over, like this sack of crap who scared me not 30 minutes in.
Oh, then it's a good thing I have this. A VIP invite.
I think someone took you for a ride, kid.
Trust is a big part of Outlaw's core story, and Kay's ever-changing allegiances will determine how easy or how hard of a time she's having. There are 4 main syndicates you'll be tangling with. The Crimson Dawn, the best part of the movie Solo, the Pike Syndicate, run by spice traders, the Hutt Cartel, shocker, Jabba, and the Ashiga clan, the Bug Hive Mind, all of whom can be your bestest buddies or your bestest debt collectors as you go about crossing, double crossing, triple crossing, and occasionally shooting up their bases, depending on who's paying the highest. All these wheelings and dealings have consequences though. Make friends, and you can freely walk through their bases, get discounts at shops, take whatever's lying around, and even get special items as gifts. But betraying one faction to please the other can tank your reputation, making them openly hostile to you as you explore the galaxy. So the question really becomes, do I lie? Do I tell the truth? Do I take the blame? Or do I throw this person under the bus? Spoilers, the correct answer is always bus throwing. In the early game, this seemed really important. Mostly because, well, for the first half of the story, Kay is about as durable as wet tissue paper, and any opportunity to walk through enemy territory unblasted was a blessing. There is no such thing as a chill drive down the coast when you're waiting for Crimson Dawn to blast you, or for a squadron of stormtroopers to suddenly realize they know how to aim a blaster. But after a while, the energy seemed kind of wasted when I could easily sneak or shoot my way through enemy territory, and apparently the game also stopped caring because the leaders of factions I'd been wiping the floor with previously were suddenly really keen to work with me regardless. Outside the core story, there are a metric ton of side quests to fill up your to-do list, but most can fit into 2 categories: fetch quests and fetch quests turned murder quests. There are a handful of story missions that require you absolutely under no circumstances get caught in the act, but the majority can be run and gun through for you chaotic types or stealth through for you Assassin's Creed wannabes. And I bring up Assassin's Creed because there are a few similarities, like sabotageable alarms, sneak attacks, whistling to attract enemies, and an alert system that seems more wildly inconsistent than the sequel trilogy. At times, it feels like enemies can spot you from a mile away, and at other times, you can walk right up to them and they'll be none the wiser. But stealth is where Nyx shines. You can send Nyx in ahead of you to open doors, trigger explosives, move through tight spaces, collect truly so many grenades that cannot be good for his teeth, distract enemies, and, if you time it right, become your personal attack dog. It's a dynamic duo like no other, and when it works, it's a team up I really enjoyed making use of, as I sat perched behind chest-high wall, plotting the demise of insert a faction member here. But, like so much of my experience with Star Wars Outlaws, for every good mechanic, there is a counter issue that grates against it. That being that I just don't find the combat that enjoyable. Now, don't get me wrong, when you do get into a good rhythm of run, jump, gun, hide, run again into the epic leap, it does feel really cool. Though I will hold a personal grudge until the end of time that Kay only has one upgradable blaster and seems to just drop other enemy weapons she picks up whenever she goes up a ladder or climbs through vents. There are so many cool space guns just out there for the stealing, and she's apparently allergic to all of them. Yes, Kay, your emotional support blaster is very cool, but I want that one. Just put it over your back. Throw it away. Now, credit where credit is due, towards the end of the campaign, it does open up some more interesting gameplay options, but so much of the main campaign is just following the same formula, interrupted with smatterings of climb this big thing or oh no, surprise ambush. Actually, on the climbing big things part, the traversal system does not feel particularly intuitive, which made for some very silly clips of Kay running into rocks and walls as I tried to work out what they deem as a climbable surface. I also found inputs occasionally just wouldn't register correctly, so I'd have to reposition myself, and it just slows everything down and kills your momentum. Now, I know I've been pretty negative so far, but one thing I do think Star Wars Outlaws does really well is its environments. From the second you step out into Canto Bight, the Star Wars galaxy opening up before you, it is magic. Hell, I was excited from the main menu. The sound design is so good, and the music, delicious. People have their own problems you can eavesdrop on. You can get involved in a cheeky bit of gambling. I, for example, got so into the card game Sabacc that I taught my real friends in real life how to play it. You can jump on some arcade games, get your grub on at the local vendors, and just generally be everyone's favorite friendly neighborhood thief. For the right price, of course. The energy and life is palpable, and a big part of that comes from the fact that though Kay is our wisecracking, down on her luck hero, she's also just another cog in the machine when she's exploring major cities. And this is pretty consistent as you explore other worlds, taking in their unique flora, fauna, games, culture, religions, food, and of course, criminal underbelly. Even outside the major cities, the greater areas have some super cute details. For example, because of the strong permanent winds on Tashara, the planet's nature has adapted accordingly. Trees are bent over at weird angles, their animals are huge, so I assume they don't blow away, and the mountains have these gorgeous, unique carvings. I did find, however, that the charm started to wane after a while, purely because there is just so much ground to cover. Yes, you do have your speeder to make travel a little quicker, and yes, I did take full advantage of those ramps for some sick jumps and even sicker collisions. Oh, quick tip, groundbreaking concept, don't fly your speeder directly into an Imperial compound, you will die. But these wide open plains are devoid of the same life that fills the cities. Bigger doesn't always mean better, and I think I would have been happier with a smaller open world with more to see, rather than these massive landscapes with nothing to do, especially when I'm being asked to hoof it halfway across the map for some coin. Overall, performance-wise, the inconsistencies continue to be consistently inconsistent. I experienced some weird bursts of lag and visual tears, cutscenes popping in and out. Sometimes cutscenes would trigger in the middle of gameplay, like when I knocked out this guard at a terminal and then his head was covering up the camera during a crucial moment. Nothing fully game-breaking, but irritating for sure. Oh, want some more bugs? Have a look at this. Here's another one. What about this? Here's one.
You wanted to see me?
And whatever this is. Now, I won't get into the story beats too much because spoilers, but as I said earlier, the further you get into the story, the more interesting it becomes. I personally think it took a little too long to build up to that point, but there are some genuinely really fun and heartfelt moments. I actually think this might be something of a divisive story for Star Wars fans going in expecting the classic good versus evil, Empire versus Resistance, because Kay isn't really on anyone's side. She's kind of removed from the politics of the systems, and the game almost goes out of its way to give Kay a reason to distrust both parties. The Resistance kinda suck, and the Empire is cracking down on crime syndicates ruining lives. I kinda see why Kay wants to just escape it all. While I didn't super jive with the apolitical story at first, I did grow to appreciate the more focused, you are just a person in this world, not destined for greatness, just trying to, survive. Oh, and I really like ND5. For me, the biggest problem with Star Wars Outlaws is its inconsistency, and that's what's keeping me from going for a second playthrough. Now, I do think there is a lot of heart in this game. The story and the environments are what kept me invested, but it's the combat that's keeping me at an arm's length. Play.